today's trader chat. We've been talking today about how good is your analysis. How do you know when Sentient Trader has performed a good analysis? We keep emphasizing to people all the time, don't just let Sentient Trader do everything for you. Once Sentient Trader has performed an analysis, you must look at it. So you must ask yourself, is this a good analysis? And in today's trader chat, I'm answering the question, how do you do that? So in summary, how do you know when an analysis is a good analysis? Well, it all boils down to a question about any other artistic process. And phasing analysis, although it is scientific, has an element of an artistic process to it. How do you do it? Well, you do it with experience and with knowledge. Okay, so I've provided you with a few sort of golden rules of thumb that you can use to decide whether an analysis is good or not. But nothing can beat improving your own understanding of cycles in the market and your own understanding of what Sentient Trader is presenting to you. To finish things off, I'd like to show you an example of an analysis that I have forced by using an expert model that I don't believe is correct. And Sentient Trader has produced what I believe is a bad analysis. Okay? And I'm going to show you how, almost at a glance, I can tell you that this is a bad analysis. Okay? First thing I do is I put up my semicircles. Okay? And I have a look at that price movement. Does it look as if though the price movement is in fact following those circles? Do the semicircles look as if though they bear some relationship to the price? Well, I'm going to point out one immediately that doesn't. Here is a clear cycle in the price, bounce up, and where is the cycle in the semicircles? Here. Okay, so there is a clear problem. Okay, you can see it just by looking at it. Whenever I look at a chart that's been analyzed by a Sentient Trader, you can see it in a moment. But of course, I've been looking at these charts for years, and but I hope you can see how easy it is actually. Let's turn off the semicircles and see how else you could have recognized that. I mentioned that the rule of thumb was that underneath prominent cycle troughs, there is an equally prominent trough in price. Sorry, above troughs in the analysis, there is an equally prominent trough in price. Well, here's a 4.5-year trough according to this analysis. And again, I've particularly built an expert model that forces Sentient Trader to produce a bad analysis. So that very prominent trough here, 4.5 years, is a tiny little trough in price. Okay, it's the trough at the end of January 2012. That's a clear question mark. That's a clear warning sign. This is not a good analysis. Here again, here's the 18-month cycle. Okay, and it's found that trough instead of this much better trough over here. Another question mark. Okay, what about this 40-week cycle? There's a 40-week cycle going up to there. Why has it chosen that one instead of this one? Okay, so you can see this analysis has many, many question marks. Here it is again. 20 weeks chosen this trough over here instead of this one. Can you see how when an analysis in Sentient Trader is bad, and it doesn't often happen, and I had to force Sentient Trader to do this against my better judgment, but when an analysis is bad, you can see it a mile away. Or I believe you can see it a mile away. So the one way of seeing it, obviously, is that the troughs in price don't line up with the troughs in the analysis. Finally, let's turn on Sentient trading method, and let's see whether we can see any inverted patterns. Okay. Now, in the previous example, I found one inverted pattern in the past year and a half or so. Can you see here? There is an inverted pattern. There is an inverted pattern of 4.5-year magnitude. There is another inverted pattern. Okay, so I can see 3 inverted patterns, 3 inverted wave shapes over this 2-year period of this analysis, and they are really strong, prominent inverted patterns. two 40-week inverted patterns and one 54-month inverted pattern. It's really clear from that there's something wrong with this analysis. Okay. There's a demonstration of a bad analysis in Sentient Trader. The really good thing to take from this, the encouraging thing to take from this, is that Sentient Trader does, by default, perform a very good analysis, unless you do something to really force it into a bad analysis. It will perform a very good, very viable analysis. It might not be the analysis that, when we look back in a few months' time, proved to be the absolutely correct analysis, but it's likely to be very close. Okay, it's very easy in Sentient Trader to get it to perform alternate analyses, as I showed you, in terms of positioning the 80-day cycle trough over here instead of here, and then you can see how the analyses differ. The only thing that you do need to make sure that you're doing correctly is setting a good analysis period. And I get a lot of questions from people saying, I've set the analysis period for such and such a stock at such and such a date. Is that right? Well, I don't know until I look at a chart, and I'm very happy to look at charts and say, yes, I think that's right. But if you don't know whether it's correct, then very simply create another chart in your workspace. Okay, add another chart to your workspace and set a different analysis period and look at the two analyses and compare them. It's as simple as that. Which is why we recommend that per workspace you have only one instrument. Such as in this workspace, I've only got the S&P 500. I'm not looking at a whole lot of different stocks or anything. In one workspace, I have one instrument. All my different charts are different possible analyses, and in fact, in this particular workspace, as you can see, I've got some analyses that work with different nominal models. This particular nominal model includes a 6-year cycle, and so there's a 6-year cycle in this nominal model. So it goes back to what William was saying: different analyses result from different nominal models. Okay, so I am watching various different analyses on the S&P 500. Creating new charts in Sentient Trader is so easy that there's no reason just to create one chart and say, okay, that's my chart for the S&P 500, that's all I'm doing. We would encourage you to create as many charts in your workspace as you feel you need to explore all analysis alternatives. Okay, I see a question from Nick saying, how well does it work for intraday analysis? It works brilliantly, Nick. I don't know. It works very well. Let me see how I can demonstrate. You know, the best way, if you're interested in taking a look at how it performs for intraday analysis, is take a look at our live analysis system. We set up our live analysis system. And I need to try and remember the address of that live analysis system. I'll get it in a moment. We set up the live analysis system so that people could watch Sentient Trader performing an analysis 24 hours a day, 5 days a week on intraday charts. The live analysis system does it. It's a demonstration system. It trades an absurdly fast cycle, the 1-hour cycle, just to demonstrate how things work. It's not a practical cycle in that you can't practically trade a cycle that quickly. But I see a question for Bruce. I'll get to that in a moment. But the live analysis system is a demonstration, if you like, of how Sentient Trader performs an analysis. There it is over there. Let me that. There we go. Here's the live analysis system as it is at the moment, 1343, which was just before we started Trader Chat, and you can see the analysis that's been performed on this intraday chart of the euro to US dollar. Okay, so my best answer to you, Nick, instead of blowing Sentient Trader's trumpet and saying, or horn, what's the right saying? Instead of blowing Sentient Trader's horn, saying it's brilliant, a more constructive suggestion at the take a look at the live analysis system and see for yourself how it works analyzing intraday charts. The live analysis system updates its analysis every minute on the euro to US dollar. I hope that answers your question to some extent, Nick, apart from just saying it works very well. I see a question from Bruce. A step-by-step guide to creating the 6-year analysis was handled in which trader chat? And Bart's answered it. Thank you, Bart. Okay, that's fantastic. All right. So, Nick, I hope that answers your question. There's a link there to the live analysis system. Sentient Trader, of course, the most exciting aspect of Sentient Trader for me is definitely working intraday, I believe it works very well, and it's fascinating watching an analysis unfold as time passes, and you can see how the cycles are unfolding and how things are developing. All right. Well, that brings of a discussion, a getting started discussion. I hope it hasn't been too basic for the many experienced users that I see amongst us. I hope it's given you some insight into working with Sentient Trader, and particularly if you're getting started, and how to know whether the analysis that Sentient Trader is producing is in fact a good analysis. I hope that that has helped you, and best of luck to you all in your working with Sentient Trader and with Hurst Signals. I see several people who I know are Signal subscribers, and I hope that that you enjoy working with the software, and that you're finding the system profitable and to your advantage. And well done, Bart, for your first session. I hope you enjoyed it, and welcome to the community. Once you get hooked on cycles, I've got to tell you, you're hooked for life. So welcome to the world of Hurst cycles. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much for your time and for your interest in Sentient Trader. Please complete that survey if you haven't already about when we can produce more Sentient Trader type chats in your time zone to suit you particularly. And we look forward to doing that soon. We have a lot of very exciting plans in